Today is a historic day. When you see the governors of the Southeast, the President General and the Executive of Ala-Igbo, traditional rulers, the cream of the business community, the clergy, notable women and youths, people at all levels of society, when you see them gathered together, you know that something historic is about to happen. Ndị Igbo are here today to find solutions to the existential problems facing our homeland. The Southeast Zone, a place known for its peace and calm, its energy, its industry, and innovation, is facing relentless insecurity. This has impacted on the lives of the people and the once bubbling economy of the Southeast region. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no problem we have in the Southeast region that we cannot solve if we come together with single-minded focus and a strong sense of togetherness. I want to thank God for seeing us through to this day, and especially seeing all of you here safely. I thank the governors of the Southeast for the confidence they reposed on the team during the course of this work. Ladies and gentlemen, once more, welcome to the summit, and please join the project team in applauding the new age governors of the Southeast for taking this bold step on behalf of Igbo.
We are here to show our collective will, our determination and our solidarity in the search for solutions to our challenges. Above all, we are here to send a clear message to our people at home and abroad, and to our fellow Nigerians, that the Igbo nation strives to become more cohesive in order to be more effective in contributing its quota in the search for national consensus on equity, peace, and development. Let me state upfront that in this summit, we need deeper reflection on how best to pursue our rightful place in the Nigerian Federation. B, we must reconsider our present direction of development, that is, our social and economic priorities and choices. And lastly, we must agree on how to further engage our young brothers and sisters involved with Biafran agitation to reconsider the idea, because no wise man goes to war with himself. Hence, after the war, you either kill yourself or wound yourself badly. 2, we must, as leaders, state very clearly and put on record our common position on this agitation. 3, we must be bold to identify and put on record our position on the causes and solutions to this insecurity in the Southeast. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, mine is to welcome you to this summit. But in addition, let me urge you to speak up. We must go out of here with clear vision and direction of where we are going and how and when to get here and when to get there. We must not wait this rare opportunity. Again, I say, Ndị Igbo, the day is today and the time is now. I thank you all.
This summit heralds a glorious new dawn. I pray that it shall stimulate and grow the creative energy we need to forge a lasting synergy among Ndị Igbo. I know our town unions are doing their best to keep Igbo kindred's spirit alive. But we all know that the thread is weakened. As for the government, we all have nostalgic feelings about the First Republic the era of late Michael Opara, the astronomical growth of the economy of the eastern Nigeria, when palm produce was the mainstay of the economy, when agriculture combined with industrialization to catapult the East to the enviable status of the fastest growing economy in the entire country. It appears that our noble men of history understood the timeless Igbo philosophy that says, Izukamma and Njenje. They also knew that cohesion and vision were essential drivers of progress and development. We may need to pause for a while to identify what has really gone wrong with Igbo, or where we got it wrong. How come we could achieve so much in the pre-independence and the immediate post-independence era, but today we are gasping for breath to find our feet in the project Nigeria? How did the mighty Igbo nation fall almost fatally from her Olympian height to the basement? Is it the same Igbo race that formed the ingenious Igbo State Union even before independence, which became a rallying point for the development of Ala-Igbo and their respected voice in Nigeria? Is it the race we are talking about? Is it the Igbo race that produced an array of trailblazers who recorded many firsts in different fields of human endeavor in the past, and they still do? Is it the race we are talking about? Is it the same Igbo race that the great Zik of Africa once predicted that it was destined to lead and liberate Africa, that cannot even assert its strength anymore in today's Nigeria? There are more questions, but suffice it to admit that all point to the same conclusion: we are currently not doing very well. It is important, while we are still in the memory of jolting process, to remind ourselves of the fact that Igbo have recorded so many firsts in Nigeria, particularly in intellectual, in scientific, and technological fields, before and after independence. The list of such great Igbos with prodigious feats in many fields is long enough to keep us here the whole day, if I were to name them one by one. The good news is that till today, Igbos have continued to be trailblazing in various fields of endeavor, such as technology and invention, where Igbos are now topping the charts. For example, Professor Njenje was the first African to become director of the United States National Science Foundation and the first to be honored by the World Bank. While Professor Ume Ifeanyi Chinedu is credited with 5 patents for his inventions. Above all, Igbos are listed and recognized in many publications among the highest achievers and technologically advanced people in the world. Every now and then, Nigerian girls and boys are recognized for incredible academic feats in various subjects all over the world. A Nigerian girl of Igbo extraction was recently named the best graduating medical student at a Russian university. A few days later, a Nigerian boy was named the best graduating student at a university in the United States of America. Recently, an Igbo girl was the best graduating student in a Chinese university. Evidently, therefore, one can say that Igbo intellectual and technological ingenuity is still alive and kicking. It is still the same race, the same people, speaking the same language, and sharing the same culture and even religion. But something has snapped. The Igbos still manifest their entrepreneurial, intellectual, and technological wizardry, now mostly in faraway lands, with only a handful doing so in the homeland. The prevailing situation in Igbo land today is best captured by the words of W.B. Yeats, which were made popular by our own Shona Ishebe. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. That truly appears to be the problem. The center in Igbo homeland can no longer hold. That is the reality of the moment. The ironclad unity that made us thick enough to lead Nigeria in commerce, lead Nigeria in civil service and the bureaucracy, and even in the organized private sector, has taken flight. That is the cancerous worm that has eaten deep into the fabric and soul of Ndi Igbo. We are no longer united. We no longer speak with one voice. We have allowed ourselves to be fragmented. We have willfully allowed ourselves to be divided. And as the scripture says, a house that is divided against itself cannot stand. Some of our brothers and sisters even refuse to be referred to as Igbos. That is how sorry and how sad our story is. That is why the Igbos have become almost distant from the mainstream Nigerian polity. So what do? Do we fold our hands and allow ourselves drift further into the bottomless abyss of insignificance? Or do we accept the challenge and jolt ourselves out of the slumber of self-defeat? To do this, we need to start telling ourselves some bitter home truths. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the challenge of insecurity is bringing us together to partner and cooperate again. Onye ndị iro gbara gburugburu na-eche ndụ ya nche mgbe niile. We are now surrounded by dangerous criminals who want to decimate us and take over Igbo land. We are witnessing the worst form of insecurity, where human blood, held sacred by Igbos, is being shed recklessly, where human beings are beheaded and videotaped, and where non-state actors now decree the days Ndi Igbo must go out to seek for their daily bread. And Igbo adage has it that the toad does not run in the afternoon without a cause. Our gathering today has been partly inspired by the fact that we are facing the collective threat of insecurity in the Southeast. The ease with which these criminals can move from one eastern state to another state reinforces the need for us to pull our resources together and to cooperate if we will be able to overcome the danger we face today. I really wish we did this meeting long before now.
This is really a new dawn in the Southeast. And for those I hear and I see many people on televisions talking and admonishing the Southeast governors to come together, unite and do this and so on and so forth. This is not talk. We are. And I am very, very delighted to be part of this particular group. When we had our first or the second Southeast Governors Forum together in Enugu, we demonstrated that all of us in attendance, no representation as it were. And today we are here. And part of that commitment to show that wherever it is in Igbo land, we are together. Ideally, this kind of summit, being the Southeast, should have been held in our eternal political capital, Enugu. But here we are in Owerri, demonstrating that commitment and solidarity with one another. But for the organizers of this summit, what we need and will very much cherish from all of you, it's not just a 2-year plan, a 5-year plan. The Vatican plans in centuries. Give us a 100-year plan for the Southeast. The next one is homeland consciousness. What will it take to implement this plan? Onwa? You spoke extensively about the things that we need, this and that, and so on and so forth. But I want to suggest, dear friends, that if we don't have the homeland consciousness, we don't believe in ourselves, this will not be achieved. So, let us believe. I've had the speeches given, books of lamentations. They're very good to lament, but I rather like to see the glass as half full than half empty. The Southeast is ready for business. The Southeast is ripe for business. And we must all believe in our ability to turn things around and get the Southeast going again. That must be the outcome of this particular summit. We can lament about the insecurity and so on and so forth. This is not the most insecure place in the world. Other places are thriving in spite of their own insecurity. Yes, when I arrived in Anambra, 8 local governments were totally under siege by these hoodlums. They're all gone. We're settling to business. They will not deter us. Anambra and the Southeast, all of us, must be determined to move our place forward in spite of the challenges. So, I say to our people, but those in diaspora who are waiting for the perfect time to come, when all the problems are solved, when the Southeast governors must have solved all the problems, God didn't make a mistake in making you Ala-Igbo. God didn't make a mistake in making you to come from the Southeast. If He chose for you to come at the time when all the problems are solved, then He would have decided to make you to come another time, not now. So, homeland consciousness. We must all believe. And finally, after the issue of self-belief comes partnerships. Ndi Igbo, we need not just ourselves, we need Nigeria. Ndi Igbo need Nigeria, and Nigeria needs Ndi Igbo. Ndi Igbo need Africa and the world and Africa need Ndi Igbo. As an itinerant people, we cannot be an intolerant people. We need the partnership of everybody. Partnership of the rest of the country, partnership of the diaspora, partnership with the international community. When we recently recruited about 5,000 teachers in Anambra, we didn't ask people where you come from. In that recruitment, we have people from all over the country. And we're now recruiting medical personnel. I think an officer mistakenly advertised that it was only for people from Anambra, and we've got her to apologize. As a people, itinerant people who are everywhere, We cannot afford to be provincial. We can't afford to be provincial. We must be able to, what does the Igbo child need? The Igbo child needs to be taught by the best teacher anywhere in the world, not to be taught by the teacher from his village, or needing medical attention to only have medical attention from somebody from his or her village. No, you want to have attention from the best in the world, and that's who we are. We must think home, act global, but our homeland, to build a livable and prosperous homeland, must be a mission. And for that to happen, we need ourselves and we need the world. I want to thank you very much, and God bless you.
The vision of the organizers of this event is very clear: building a secure, prosperous, and economically robust Southeast. This intervention is very timely, and it is good we have it in this auditorium. Individuals with records of proven achievements in all thematic areas. It is my expectation that the insights to be shared by these accomplished men and women shall help chart a new path for our land, which unfortunately has become beleaguered by several challenges that could not have been contemplated a few years back. Our duty here is to tell ourselves the truth, and we must resist the temptation to let political considerations minimize the frankness and sincerity that should be central to our recovery and restoration. A lot has gone wrong in the last 2 decades and more, and the triggers were both internal and external. What we must do over the next 2 days is to look ourselves in the eye and admit that we have indeed not lived up to the vision and dreams of our fathers, the men who built what was once known as the most thriving economic center of enterprise and productivity in the world, and that was Southeast. Dr. Modern housing facilities, quality road networks, dynamic educational facilities that answer to the learning needs of the global economy, smart cities, high-speed broadband internet, one-stop shops and retail malls, standard hotels and event centers, parks and gardens, secured and clean neighborhoods, financial services centers, and access to quality water have become very central to our existence in this age. And any government that compromises on these would continue to witness the mass exodus of its best brains and minds. We must be willing to engage with our youth population, understand their needs, and address that sense of alienation that is continuing to linger. We must importantly identify effective ways of tapping into the power of their creative minds for their lives and advantage. Additionally, we must appreciate that there is anger in the land, and there is a reason many people are disappointed. We must open a window of engagement with those who believe that they have not been paid attention to or they have not been treated fairly. As leaders, we must be open to listening to those we are leading, especially when we have different ideas about key issues. Importantly, we must encourage our people to look east by creating the right environment for their businesses. It is not enough to ask them to relocate home, but I must especially commend the industrialists and businessmen who are continuing to invest in this region. I thank you for your efforts at job creation and holistic economic growth within the region. I encourage others to begin to see the great opportunities that are developing here. But I must also address our leaders that we do not have a choice but to create the enabling environment for businesses to do well in the Southeast. Right. The commitment must be to do better and, most importantly, position this land to take advantage of the many systems of benefits that the new global borderless economy promises. My dear brothers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening, and I will see you in Ukwa West on Saturday. God bless you.
The ties that bind us together run truly deep. So, we have this commonality of everything. We may have various dialects, but we have one language, Igbo. And this Igbo nation is today faced with existential challenges, existential threats. We are faced with the worst security bout ever experienced in the Southeast. We're also faced with the worst economic slump ever witnessed since after the end of the Civil War. We are also looking at ways beyond just the kinetic approach to addressing insecurity. We're looking at the moral suasion, the non-kinetic approaches to dealing with insecurity. We know that some of these our youths are being misled into believing that they are fighting a noble cause. And so this is where our traditional rulers, our president generals of the various town unions have a critical role to play. How do we let this our youth see the folly in their action, their misguided actions, knowing that this could only be a shot in the foot? As a way of extending the non-kinetic approach is also for us as leaders of this zone to be able to think about how do we deal with the root causes of insecurity. In my opinion, how do we address unemployment and poverty? That naturally leads me to the next theme of this summit, economy. I believe that in order for us as a region to grow, we must take a bold view of the things we can achieve as a region. So, and that would include looking at how do we have an integrated region, into how do we integrate this region, a very compact region for that, but how do we integrate it into a common market? And what are the synergies that we require to build in order to achieve that? What are the key enablers to have a common market? Now, the importance of having a common market is A, you're going to be able to attract large investments. Okay, if we're looking at a market size of 25 million people and above, so you're talking about 25 million consumers, and you're looking at the economies of scale that you can achieve by that sheer size of people. We're also going to be able to look at how do we create a large scope of specialization by way of, the things we have comparative advantage of in the Southeast. So there are ways we can begin to think about expanding or growing our economy, but talking about them would require, as I said, key enablers. And in my view, those key enablers would be in form of transportation and logistics. How do we ensure that we have a rail network that loops across the various cities in Anambra, Abia, Imo, Enugu, and Ebonyi? How do we build a ring road that connects all the major cities in the Southeast?
How do we build so that we can seamlessly encourage those who are producing and those who are providing services to be able to distribute their products and services across the different cities of Southeast seamlessly. So there are things that we must be intentional about if we're going to deal with unemployment and insecurity in the Southeast. My hope is that this summit is going to employ the best of our brains to create these ideas, prepare them in a way that is implementable. I can assure you that for us, I'm sure I'm speaking for my brothers as well, that we're going to stand by you to implement these great ideas that you would curate from this summit. So once again, I want to thank the organizers of this summit, and I wish you a fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
More music at ngf.com.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Amba. Let me quickly now invite Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, representing the Governor, Right Honorable Francis Ogbonna-Nwifuru. I'd like to welcome our Princess Patricia Onyemechi Obila to please step forward here.
Greetings from my own dear Governor, the Executive Governor of Ebonyi State, Right Honorable Ogbonna-Nwifuru. He would have been here present, but you know what happened yesterday? He's still in Abuja, but we thank God for the grace. And congratulations to Ebonyi people and everybody here. The time that we have to stick together as one family, it came at a time that we have to talk and look at our faces and tell ourselves the truth. Yes, we have come of that age. Enough is enough. We need to come home. We need to come together. We need to speak at one voice. We need to talk to each other, to encourage each other, so that all that we need in this Southeast will be done. What do we need? First of all, we need peace. This peace cannot just come from anywhere. Let us start from our homes. Mothers, are you there? Yes. The women are ready to take this course. We are ready to go back home, to talk to our children, to remove them from the wrong track and bring them to the rightful one. We have said it all here. All my leaders, the governors, and all that are spoken here, we have said it all. All that we need in this Southeast is to believe in ourselves. There is nothing we cannot do in Southeast. When you go out there, even outside the country, the best in the whole world comes from Southeast. The best in the brain that comes from Southeast. How can't we sit? Can't we sit together and harness this epitome and harness all this wisdom that we have in the house seat? So please, this summit, we appreciate it so much. I wish we can be having it every week, where we can come together and interact and speak with one voice on how to move Southeast forward. But for Ebonyi State, we are committed and fully committed to support this project to the end. God bless you all. And as we go back home, let us go as that good ambassador to preach this good news to our people. God bless you all, and it shall be well with us.
This is a very important ceremony, and I want to assure the governors, Ohaneze will be very willing to have this event as one of the annual events in the calendar of Igbos. Tomorrow, when I address our people, on the Igbo Day ceremony, I will make a proclamation, and I'm going to say that all these young people should sheathe their swords. They must come to us, the elders, and tell us what their problem is. And I'm going to appeal to the government to think of non-kinetic approach. There are so many things we are planning. A lot of things we hope when we plan them, things will be all right. But we think federal government will support the governors. That is, support them financially, support them on the projects they're carrying, so that you could have job opportunities. Once you have job opportunities, that will help to reduce all this crime. I don't want to talk so much because you have been here for too long. I want to thank Chris Anyanwu and his team. I want to thank all of you. May God bless you. Thank you.
Let me start by congratulating you on this extraordinary gathering of Southeast leaders coming together to consider the economic and social development of the region. The Southeast has so many talents and opportunities, and I think we can plan how to exploit them all to the benefit of the region and its people. Let me say that many of these opportunities that I mentioned will not prove as attractive if the macroeconomic environment in the country is unstable. Low growth, high inflation, the depreciating naira, and exchange rate volatility make for daunting challenges. The federal government will have to get a handle on overall macroeconomic management for the country to attract both domestic and foreign investment and for the country to grow. They insist they are working on this, and I hope we can see stability soon. In the meantime, Southeast governors must work on the elements they can control, many of them listed above. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by saying that I'm optimistic. Yes, I'm optimistic for the Southeast. Your coming together at this time is a great sign. Our youth and women are vibrant. They are ready to work. They are just waiting for a truly committed leadership. We have what it takes in the Southeast. Let us just get on and do it. Igbo kwenu, kwezuenu.
The greatest existential threat to Igbo may invariably be argued to be the continuing erosion and perversion of our traditional values of truth, love, compassion, patience, restraint, modesty, intellectual and professional rigor, Ibambo, Ichuchu, mutual support, family, and an abiding pursuit of peace and goodwill to us all. Because I Bundi, Ojembe Nwilo, we're all over the place. We're itinerant people. The joint body is pleased that the agenda for this summit completely dovetails with its own vision for an Igbo and complements and completes the tripod of the economy, the security, and our core values. The last acting as the foundation for sustainable accomplishment of the other two. So we need our values back. We need to restore our values to accomplish the economic development and security. We are pleased also that several members of the joint body have been involved in the preparatory work for this summit. And this is very, very welcome synergy in the interest of Igbo. And finally, I urge all present to ensure the success of this very crucial summit on the search for sustainable solutions to the security and economic challenge of our homeland based on the restoration of our core values. Thank you very much.
You will recall that we have had two motions, one in the House of Representatives, one in the Senate, calling on the federal government to address the issue of insecurity in the Southeast. Because we believe that the governors cannot do it alone. We believe that it requires a collaborative effort between the governors of the Southeast and the federal government to tackle the issue of insecurity in the Southeast.
And I believe once that is done, all the other issues of economy and all the rest of them will be a thing of the past. But today, I wouldn't want to join in too much lamentations. Today, we are now saying that the time is ripe to reset the Southeast. And how do we reset it? God has given us all the men and women to reset it at this point in time.
What I will do mostly is to thank the governors of the Southeast for thinking it wise to organize this summit. There is not much to say in here because most of what needs to be said have been said by both the governors and the beautiful speeches coming from the previous speakers. But the thing to add is that making it an annual event, as Governor Hope Uzodinma said, our Governor General, is something that will help this zone, the Southeast zone. And it will help us, it will help the zone. So what I'm suggesting is that every Monday we are sitting at home, it is affecting our economy. The amount of money we are losing, both in trading and in services, is enormous. So everything should be done to even placate all the people involved in the problem of sit at home, to bring them together, to make sure that this issue of sitting at home, for very active people like the Southeast, stops.
Money is available in the global marketplace to do business. If you are credible, I have what it takes to make it happen. The marketplace is full of competitors. They have natural brilliance, they have energy, but a lot of them lack humility. You cannot be successful except you're a humble person. Things have changed. We must prioritize our investments. It has nothing to do with where you come from. I'm an Igbo man. I've done projects in Iraq, in Libya, in Guinea-Bissau, in Dubai, in Gambia, and I did election in Nigeria. And I'm doing the census. I supply the whole equipment. You can fight. But this is the best time for the Igbo men and women with intelligence to succeed. That's why I call it a new economy. And the governors, you have the capacity. I'm not a politician like you people know. You have the capacity to resolve one major issue. Embrace the president, discuss with him, and see if you can get Nnamdi Kanu out of prison.
Today is a great day for Igbo, because for the first time in recent history, we have our 5 governors agreeing to work together. The time is gone for individual development. The time today is for us to collectively define who Igbos are, collectively design what we want for the Southeast, and collectively defend it. The other one is education. You cannot develop beyond your capacity. So if you train your people, invest money in education, we will in no time, in 20 years' time, this place will be fantastic. I have my strong belief also that in the 5 of you, our set of new governors, we have a new dawn for Igbo, and God bless you all.
Your Excellency, I'm going to be standing on existing protocol Josephine Anene was supposed to be speaking on behalf of the Southeast women, but she had to leave early for another engagement in Enugu. So I'm going to stand in her place. Is that the women of the Southeast, we are nurturers, we are mothers, we are helpmates, and we're here to convey our support, our undivided loyalty to our men, to our father, to the leaders. And we want to say to our people, election is over. We should put our differences aside. This is the time for governance. This is the interest of the Southeast. We are not here to take sides. Whether it's your party is party B or party A, but as mother, that we are 100% supporting what our Southeast governors are here to do. It's a clarion call. And I want to also use the opportunity to say, please, for the sake of the Southeast, we are actually special gift to this country called Nigeria. I want to beg everyone on behalf of the women on the Southeast mothers that please let's put our differences and join hands with Imo State, Abia State, Enugu State, Ebonyi State, and Anambra State to build the Southeast of our collective aspiration and dreams.
This summit, which is focusing mainly on security and its negative impact on the economy of the Southeast, has come at the most auspicious time. It is very necessary that as a people we come together and put our heads together to find a lasting solution to this problem of insecurity in our homeland. If we put our minds to it and work in unity and with mutual trust, we will find a way out of this problem that is alien to us. Let me therefore commend Your Excellencies, the governors of the Southeast, for initiating the idea of the summit and working together to make this a reality. I pray that God Almighty will guide us, grant us the wisdom, strength, and courage to take the necessary steps to end insecurity in our own land, so that we can continue to work with our God-given talents and energy to restore peace, tranquility, prosperity in the Southeast, and indeed our dear country, Nigeria.
I have the honor of being the voice of my peers, the millions of young people of southern eastern Nigeria who face the growing threat of socioeconomic displacement due to the security challenges plaguing our beloved region and its adverse economic consequences. We find it is high time we shifted from rehashing challenges and assigning blame and come together, not as young people, not as elders, but as a people, to resolving the problem of Ala-Igbo. My prayer is this as I live, that in the not so distant future, when I become a billionaire, I am not one yet, I won't need a bulletproof vehicle and heavy security to visit my hometown in Okana. Instead, I'll walk home at night with only the cricket and the moon as companions. May this be our collective reality, from Omoma to Umoro, from Isofia to Ashishowo, and all the way to Ofreka Abuja. Thank you all for your attention and commitment to our collective well-being. Keichi Kalotama, Dalono.
We also want to place on record that the security services are not the enemy of the Southeast. They are the partners, brothers, and co-workers, co-brothers, co-sisters of the Southeast and indeed the whole of Nigeria. After all, we are all Nigerians. I was also directed to pointedly say that no person in his right senses carries a fight into his father's house. Our misguided young brothers and sisters are taking the fight into their own homes. They are destroying their own homes. they are destroying the economy of the Southeast, is that getting a solution to the problems of this region cannot and will not be obtained through violence. And there is no section, no war that has ever ended through internal wars that have been ended through the victory from arms. You must discuss, you must negotiate, you must find an intrinsic solution that is agreeable to all parties. So I want to conclude by thanking Your Excellency, sir, our fathers, our royal fathers here, for taking time to invite us to come and express our solidarity, our goodwill, and most of all, our support and strength behind you, that as long as you are seeking peace and development, the federal government of Nigeria under President Tinubu, and in fact the armed forces of Nigeria, stand strong behind you and will support you always, sir. Thank you and God bless, sir.
In pursuit of the non-kinetic approach to eliminate these illicit arms that are causing the problems for us, the federal government has established this National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons in the Office of the National Security Advisor. The center now has 6 regional offices, 1 in each of the geopolitical zones of Nigeria. And the one for Southeast is located in Enugu. The Office of the National Security Advisor, on its part, will continue to explore new ways and means of enhancing collaboration with all stakeholders in the Southeast to effectively checkmate security threats and set conditions for a stable and prosperous environment for the good people of our region and the nation at large. The Office of the National Security Advisor will also remain resolute in contributing its quota to the collective responsibility of enhancing national security and economic well-being of the people of the Southeast Zone and the nation at large.